Good morning, guys. Thursday morning. Just posted my video for today, and now it's time to get on the truck. I just went and picked up the rear wheels with the tires remounted, so they hold air now, so that's a good thing. And yeah, so today I'm going to get on bolting stuff onto the frame for the final time. So get the fuel tank in, the rear shocks in, maybe some short. I think I have enough brake line here to do all the short runs on the brake lines. Get some bits on the engine and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a ton to do. So yeah, let's just get after it, man. Okay, so I just finished bolting in the rear shocks, and it's gonna put the tank in next. But first I want to put something between the tank and the frame. So I've got an old, well, it's actually not old. My buddy had swapped the tire out on his bike, and when he put it on, he pinched the tube. So he brought the wheel here, we swapped out the tube, and he left the pinched one here. So I just put it away, and because you never know when you're going to need some strips of rubber, like I do now. So I cut up some strips, and we're going to put that in between the tank and the frame. That should take care of any squeaks or vibrations or rattles or anything like that. And yeah, so we'll put those strips down, drop the tank in place, and bolt her in for good. Okay, so just a couple little things here. Their shocks are in, lock nuts at the bottom, and up top here, I put a lock washer on as well. So these are in, nice and secure. Everything looks good. Yeah, I'm digging it. And we also put in, or not we, me, I. Anyway, the flex line's in, so now I can, goes like so, and we can run our short runs from here to that hub, and from here to this hub, and then we take off from here all the way to the front of the truck. And this here, I'm not going to lie to you, I had a hell of a time finding bolts, man. They're all over the place. I've got them, but I got to find them. My dad was lucky. When he was working in the garage, he had me to sort out all his bolts. I don't have that. I tried to get my boy out here, but yeah, not happening. Like I said, he doesn't like to get his hands dirty. I don't know whose kid he is. Anyway, so the tank's all in, bolted in. You can see the rubber sticking out here and there. I'll trim it off a little bit. Any of the ugly stuff, but you can tell, it doesn't have that tinny sound. So yeah, good to go. Okay, well, I was going to put my water pump on, but I missed a few spots with paint, so I gave it another shot. So it's not ready. So I figured I'd do some rear brake lines. That'll come from here. Little loop, hook into the clip, come across, up into this clip, then back down and over to where it mounts to the flex line. So it's all 3/16 back here. The fronts are 1/4 inch. So if I get these two short ones, then all I have left is the long one to go to the front. I'll have to buy a length of that. But for these short ones, I've got a bunch of various lengths here. This is all 3/16, so they've all been flared, and fittings are on them. So out of one of these, I'm hoping I got the proper length to do the longer of the two runs. The short one, I'm going to have to cut and flare. But so I'm gonna set up the camera, and I'm gonna measure my the longer of the two lines. All right, so we're gonna have a little bit of a loop here. We'll call that 22 up to there. And 8, that's 30, 38, and then another, say 4 inches, 42 inches. So I'll see what I've got to, it's close, and put her in place. Okay, so I found one at 40 inches. I think I can make it work. You know, it's coming past the hole a fair amount. I had a hell of a time getting it started. I noticed there was some dirt and stuff in there, so I sprayed some brake clean in it and blew it out with compressed air. And yeah, I think we're good to go. So I'm going to be cheap with my bends here because I don't want to lose too much length. Something like that. There. Spread that clip a little bit. So yeah, I'll just use a screwdriver and spread it open a touch. There we go. And we'll spread this one as well. We'll close them back up after. Come on. Yeah, it's going to work out fine. And the idea here is to just try and keep it, you know, neat and tidy looking. So yeah, that's ready to put into here. And then we'll get the short one done. Short one, like I said, I'm going to have to cut and flare it. Because it's only about maybe 20 inches, 24 inches. So I'll see what I got, cut that, and then maybe we'll show doing a flare. Okay, so we're gonna flare a brake line, but first we're gonna have story time. This one's called The First Time I Flared Brake Lines. So I bought this 73 Olds Cutlass, got it really cheap. One of the reasons was all the brake lines were shot. So I bought the car, brought it home, I picked up brake lines and fittings and all that stuff. Got my dad's flaring tool out and flared all the lines and put it all together and everything. Everything looked really good. And I got my buddy over to help me bleed them. And every single fitting leaked. Every single one. So I didn't know what the hell I did wrong. I was 19, I didn't know shit. So anyway, the old man comes home from work, and so I told him what happened and what the problem was. And he says, well, here, show me how you flared the line. So I showed him, you know, what I did. And he looks at me in the most affectionate way and he says, you have to double flare it, stupid. so yeah. So he showed me how to double flare a line, and I carried that with me to this day. So that's story time. So I'm going to set up the camera and we'll double flare a brake line. Okay, so I figured I'd do this on the vise. I think it might be easier. I've already cut my line to just over 16 inches. This is the second time I actually flared this one. The first time, got a perfect flare, and forgot to put my fittings on. So I had to cut it off. So make sure you put your fittings on before you flare. And yeah, like a dumbass. Anyway. That in here. Make sure this is good and tight. You don't want the line to move once you start torquing down on it. There. Okay, you can see that, but it's sticking up past the flat surface here just a little bit. So then we take this, it's got a little pin on it that maintains the inside diameter of the line. And this little gadget here. And excuse me for a second, I'm going to get my glasses. So don't mind me stumbling and bumbling around here because I've got my fat little fingers and horrible eyesight. So what we're going to do here basically is just mushroom out the end of it. That should be there. There we go. So now it's kind of shaped like this at the end. And then what we're going to do is put this on without the pin and fold it into itself. There we go. And that should do it. There we go. There's our flare. So fits nice. The idea being that because it's doubled over, that's a nice flush edge to get a good seal on the female part of the fitting. So we're good to go. Yep. Okay, so here we go. Rear lines are in. So we've just got the one long one to put in. I ended up doing a second one of the short one because apparently I have a rubber measuring tape because it was supposed to be 18 inches, not 16. But anyway, no biggie. Yeah, it's all good. Looks pretty clean. So yeah, so we're just going to take off from here now, or from up here, I should say, and head to the front. So I'm going to have to pick up some a roll of line, I guess. But yeah, all good. So, good morning. Saturday morning, yeah, about 9 o'clock. Nice sunny day, beautiful, but it is cold. It's about 18 below. You can tell by when the snow crunches under your feet like that, it's cold. Just went in for a, cup of tea. That's right, I said tea. I drink that stuff. I find coffee too hard in the gut for an old guy. And, I have 1 or 2 cups in the morning, first thing, and then that's it for the day. So I was going to put my water pump on, but it's still tacky. So, yeah, so I'm going to hold off on that. So I started playing around with drive shafts, and I'll set up the camera and show you what I had going on. Okay, so I had one in place. I've already put it back upstairs, and you know the shaft was out this far. That's too short. So what you want your shaft to there we go. You want a little bit of play just for suspension travel, so as your rear end goes up and down, you know, it can go in and out a little bit. Don't need a ton. And then I had these two here, and you can see the other ends are lined up. This one here is about 3/4 of an inch to an inch shorter than this one. This one is just too long. So get that one out of play. Now I'll show you how close this is. So pretty much gonna sit like that. It's pretty much where it wants to live. Now I'm gonna grab the camera here and don't mind me. So, like I said, I could do measurements, but I thought it would be better to illustrate it. So that's pretty much where it would sit. You know, got it centered here. So look how close this is. I mean, real close. But just a little bit too long, I think. You know, maybe 3/4 of an inch. That sucks. It's too bad. Would have been nice to have one. It just slid right in place. But man, it's close. Anyway, I'm gonna make some calls and see what kind of money it is to have one shortened, and go from there. I'm gonna need new universal joints anyway, and you know, I already popped the shaft off the one that was on here because it was for a Ford tranny, different end. So I gotta, you know, get a U-joint to fit the ends and the 9-inch Ford rear as well. So yeah, I'll get a price on that on Monday and see where we stand. Okay, so there you go. Got quite a bit done. You know, when you're assembling things for the final time, it can be slow going. You know, you don't want to bang things around, scratch everything, chip paint, all that kind of stuff. So you take your time. You know, make it look pretty and get it done. And you just keep going, and eventually it all comes together. Drive shaft, that's a big deal. Man, so close, you know. Would have been nice if that just slipped in there, man. But it is what it is. Can't get lucky all the time. You know, my 50 Ford, grabbed the drive shaft. First one I grabbed, went right in. So, you know, that's just bullshit luck. That's what that is. Yeah, I've got a bunch of parts coming in next week. You know, and also I'm gonna have to do a bunch of running around on Monday. I'm gonna need brake lines, I need fuel line, I need you know, some clamps to clamp them to the lines to the frame. What else? Oil. Bunch of little things. So yeah, we'll pick that up on Monday. Also, I'll make the call to the driveline place. There's a couple of them in town, and see if we can get a price on shortening that drive shaft, and maybe call a couple of the local transmission shops, see if they've got an old torque converter for a 350 laying around. Then I can finish that right off, and all the driveline will be done. I've got a bunch of pieces to bolt on the engine yet, and I guess probably one of the next steps, or shortly, will be exhaust. Get that dialed in and figured out, and we can fire this puppy up. So yeah, all good. New subscribers, thank you very much. Once again, you know, it's you guys spreading the word, and I appreciate it. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, and you know, don't be afraid to leave comments down below. I enjoy the comments, and I always respond to them. And yeah, if you're not doing anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.